And so to continue our special series in Iddesleigh, 60 years ago the BBC broadcast a film showing the challenges facing the UK's rural communities. The programme focused on the Devon village of Iddesleigh, and Justin has been back to the village to talk to some of those who featured in the film and to see how life has changed since it was made.
Views like this seem eternal, don't they? Like that's always been there and always will be. But back in the 1950s, people were startled by the pace of change. Despite that, they believed that farming would always be at the heart of the English rural economy.
The real future of the countryside still lies in the land, in its ability not only to provide food for the nation, but also work and rewards for the people of the countryside. To halt that disastrous drift away from the land, which in the past 80 years has reduced the population of Iddesleigh from 800 to 200. It's still declining, and no new families are coming onto the land.
Well, although farming wasn't attracting any new families, back in 1958, when the original film was made, one farmer's son was returning to Iddesleigh from university.
And a BSc degree in agriculture doesn't mean white-collar farming for Peter Banbury. He really gets down to it. But he's young and lively, and I just wondered.
Peter, your father was just telling me that your elder brother works as an accountant in London. Now, didn't you have any hankering to follow suit and go and live and work in a big city?
No, I don't think so. I've made up my mind to return here to farm. That's what I like best. I've trained to be a farmer, and I'm perfectly satisfied in my own mind that there's a good future in British agriculture.
So, Peter, was there a future in British agriculture?
Well, you're probably seeing it in front of you, aren't you? I'm still here, and I've been farming here now for 61 years since it was filmed. So, yes, there was a future in agriculture. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, would I?
And what's it been like here, farming over the last 60 years?
Well, you know, farming has had its ups and downs, as most industries do. And I mean, it's been more profitable some years than others, but generally, of course, that there are less farmers in Iddesleigh than there were. I mean, in 1958, there were 17 what I call working farmers, people whose income for the land was all their income. Now, for the same acreage, it's down to 10.
In the film, your father is talking about the big changes that were coming with mechanisation and with electricity and running water. What do you think have been the biggest changes for you in your time here on the farm?
In '58, we employed four and a half men, really. The last full-time worker we employed retired in 2005. So we've gone from having lots of workmen to employing contractors and more machinery.
Iddesleigh is a small place. It's obviously not growing, it's standing still. Now, do you feel as a young man that it's a good thing to tie yourself down to a small place which is just away from the mainstream of life?
Well, I don't really see it that way myself, I must say. After all, the land's here, and somebody will be always here farming it.
What would you say were the biggest changes here, though, in the village itself? Because structurally, when you look at it visually, it hasn't changed a lot. But what about the makeup of the people here? How has that changed?
Well, in fact, there aren't any farm workers living in Iddesleigh, and there's, you know, more and more retired people. But I mean, it's still a nice community, and there are enough Iddesleigh indigenous people to make it, you know, still a village that I'm proud to be a member of.